Moving on, a gentleman who I'm sure is well known to many of you. John Scott has been the Conservative member of the Scottish Parliament since March 2000, when he won the Ayr by-election. And he's actually currently one of the deputy presiding officers of the Scottish Parliament. But tonight he's representing the no side in the debate. He's been a farmer for over 30 years, although he has a degree in civil engineering from Edinburgh University. But his involvement in the farmers' market started in 1999, and that's when he founded the Ayrshire Farmers Market, and then since then has been instrumental in the development of markets across Scotland. He's also an enthusiastic rugby fan. Let's hope he doesn't drop the ball tonight. Please put your hands together and welcome Mr. John Scott.
So, Madam Chairman, Amanda, ladies and gentlemen, 12 weeks tomorrow, we will vote for or against the break-up of the United Kingdom. It will be the biggest political decision the people of Scotland will make in a generation, and it will be irreversible, like the present of a puppy. It will be for life, not just for Christmas. This decision on how we vote will be based on an uncosted wish list, the government white paper, and on the evidence we have heard so far. I believe we should say thanks, but no thanks, because I want the best of both worlds and to keep things as they are. Because, Madam Chairman, there are too many unknowns. Firstly, with 12 weeks to go, we still don't know what currency we will use if we become an independent country. We know that the separatists want to keep the pound, but we also know that the UK government does not see a currency union as being in the best interests of the remainder of the United Kingdom if Scotland decides to become independent. Of course, an independent country usually wants to start out with its own currency, and that would be a reasonable position. But that is not the proposal on the table, and Mr. Salmond has already rejected being part of the euro, although he is determined that we will be part of the European Union. So at best, uncertainty exists. And the currency we have affects everything we do, our job security, as well as our pensions and benefits. And I say no thanks to this uncertainty. We also do not know how our pensions will be funded. But we do know that the proportion of Scotland's population of pensionable age is projected to increase more rapidly than the rest of the United Kingdom, as we all hopefully live longer. We do not know if we will have border controls in an independent Scotland, between Scotland and England. But it seems likely an independent Scotland will be pursuing a different policy on immigration from the remainder of the United Kingdom as defined so far. So probably we could have border controls. Further, with 12 weeks to go till the referendum, we do not know what our income will be in Scotland, in a Scotland separated from the rest of the United Kingdom. But we do know that Scotland's income will fluctuate enormously in an economy where oil revenues will make up a significant proportion of that economy. For example, last year oil and gas revenues from the North Sea fell by £4 billion from the year before, which is also the same amount it takes to run our schools in Scotland. And had we been in an independent Scotland, and depending on that income, taxes could have had to have risen dramatically, or school closures could have happened. What we do know is that oil and gas from the North Sea is a declining resource, that it will be harder and harder to extract the remainder of this valuable asset, and that recovery costs will be higher and income variable. So I say no thanks to the uncertainty of basing our future income on a declining resource of varying value. Now, returning again to the unknowns, we don't know what Scotland's share of the UK debt will be if we break away from the United Kingdom. A reasonable estimate would be about £120 billion, which sounds like a lot of money, and indeed it is. We don't know what it would cost to service this debt, never mind starting to pay it back. But we do know that we would all be liable for it, in the same way we are liable for our monthly credit card repayments, or our mortgages, or our overdrafts. What we do know is that when Ireland was forced to go cap in hand in 2010 to the International Monetary Fund, seeking a bailout of £57 billion, their debt was £110 billion. And they are very much still struggling to pay this back today and for the foreseeable future. So we in Scotland would start on our journey to independence with a crippling debt from day one, and facing higher interest charges than the rest of the United Kingdom on our share of that debt. And again I say, no thanks to that as well. What we also don't know is the future of Trident, our nuclear defence shield. We do not know if we'll be part of NATO, or if we will be welcome members of this alliance, having kicked the nuclear submarines out of Faslane and destroyed the 17,000 jobs that support our nuclear submarine base at Faslane. We also do not know what the start-up costs of the new state of Scotland would be, and estimates vary between £200 million from Professor Dunleavy to over £2 billion from the UK Treasury, and the reality will probably be near the top end of the scale. What I do know is that last year the Scottish Government created the new Police Scotland, which cost £147 million on its own. The Scottish Parliament, I also know, cost £414 million 10 years ago. And I do know that the government can't even tell us their best guess or estimate, because they have refused point blank to do so, despite repeated questioning in Parliament over several weeks. So, ladies and gentlemen, I could go on about further uncosted uncertainty, but you get the picture. Facts and figures are dull and boring, but the standard of living of the people of Scotland depends on figures adding up. Call me old-fashioned. What we can and can't afford in terms of our health, our education, our pensions, our defence, is determined by our level of debt, just like any household or business, and our ability to create income and wealth. At the moment, we are part of the 6th largest economy in the world, and among the wealthiest countries in the world. And as part of the United Kingdom, we have the best of both worlds. Independence, separation and breakup creates unknowns and risks. And there are many more unknowns than knowns. And none of these crucial unanswered questions are unanswered because of the UK government. These questions are unanswered because the SNP, the separatists, don't want to tell us the answers, because they know if they did, the people of Scotland would rightly say, and why should we vote for that? Day after day, week after week, the First Minister refuses to answer reasonably asked questions in Parliament, and he's been doing this for the last 18 months, and I have witnessed it on every single occasion. These questions are unanswered because the SNP, I beg your pardon, I've read that bit before. Ladies and gentlemen, you would think, would you not, that if you were putting forward a proposal to the people of Scotland that expressed your lifetime ambition of independence, you will be putting forward a proposal with all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. Instead, we've been given an uncosted wish list. And I say again, no thanks to that. My view is that Mr Salmon's proposals can be summed up in 2 words: uncosted risks. And these are risks to our future and our children and our grandchildren's future. Remaining part of Britain means we remain part of the most successful union in the world. And we have been united since 1603 with the Union of the Crowns, and since 1707 with the Union of our Parliaments. We have had 15 years of devolution, and we will get more, which is the best of both worlds. And remaining part of Britain means we will not have to worry about our currency, but we will keep the pound. Remaining part of the United Kingdom secures our defence, with the most highly trained army in the world to protect us and the deterrence of our nuclear submarines. Remaining part of the United Kingdom means we will keep the Queen as our head of state. Remaining part of the United Kingdom means I, and I believe many others, can be proud to be Scottish and British, and be proud of the likes of Andy Murray, a fine example of being both. Remaining part of the United Kingdom gives us the best of both worlds, and I believe that our future is brighter if we vote no and remain part of the United Kingdom. Because if we do, we know that jobs will remain in Scotland instead of being threatened by companies moving to England. We know our pensions will remain secure and backed by being paid in pounds sterling. We know if we remain part of the United Kingdom and vote no, that new investment will come into Scotland, bringing more jobs. We know that Scotland will no longer be on pause, as it is now, and that the yoke of uncertainty currently holding Scotland back will be lifted from us. We know Scotland will have further devolution, yet remain part of the United Kingdom. And we know that this will be the best of both worlds for the people of Scotland. As is often said in Ayrshire, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And we must repel this threat to all that we cherish and hold dear as part of the United Kingdom. Thank you very much.